Welcome, history enthusiasts, locked in a relentless cycle of war. But what if I told you that several decades ago, they shared their deepest military secrets? This is the untold story of Project Flower, a massive pact buried under the desert sand. We travel back to 1977, when oil money could easily buy anything. In the late 70s, the Middle East was a chessboard of immense geopolitical tension. Iran, ruled by the powerful Shah, was flush with an unimaginable wealth of petrodollars. The nation swiftly sought to project absolute dominance across the entire Persian Gulf region. However, massive wealth alone could not build the advanced ballistic missiles they desperately craved. On the other side of the strategic board stood Israel, a proud nation with brilliant scientists. They possessed the cutting-edge aerospace technology, but their defense budget was severely drained. A quiet, secret convergence of needs brought these two unlikely partners to the very same table. This ambitious endeavor was hidden under a remarkably innocent name: Project Flower. It was a clandestine operation that would forever alter the balance of modern warfare. Imagine the sheer scale of building highly sophisticated rockets capable of massive reach. The blueprint demanded engineering genius rarely seen during that turbulent and dark era. Both governments recognized the incredible stakes involved in this dangerous military gamble. Failure was simply not an option, as the surrounding enemies were watching very closely. The Shah envisioned a mighty arsenal that would command ultimate respect across the oceans. Meanwhile, Israeli defense leaders desperately needed a massive infusion of capital. So the stage was perfectly set for a covert transaction that would truly shock the modern world. In heavily guarded corridors of power, whispers of this monumental pact began to form. Each document was highly classified, bearing the stamp of absolute national secrecy. Loyal guards stood like silent statues, ensuring no unwanted eyes could breach the inner sanctum. Behind closed doors, the future of regional supremacy was being quietly negotiated. It was a dangerous game of shadows, where trust was a rare and extremely expensive commodity. But the overwhelming desire for unmatched military power silenced any lingering doubts. The ultimate prize was simply too magnificent to ignore: a weapon to rule the burning skies. The year is 1977, inside the opulent and stifling meeting rooms of Tehran. General Hassan Toufanian, a bold military leader, sits across the wooden desk. His sharp eyes carefully analyze the blueprints laid out before him by the foreign delegation. Facing him is Shimon, a shrewd and experienced negotiator from Israel. The atmosphere in the room is incredibly thick with cigar smoke and heavy, silent tension. They are here to finalize a transaction that technically should not even exist on record. Peres presents the solution: a fully functional and secret ballistic missile program. In return, Israel asks for a massive financial commitment to rescue their defense sector. Toufanian understands the profound value of what is being offered on the table right now. The oil boom has filled Iranian vaults with endless cash, creating a perfect strategic chance. With a swift stroke of a golden pen, A billion-dollar agreement is silently forged in the shadows. Suitcases filled with untraceable funds begin moving through highly secure diplomatic channels. This massive flow of Petrodollars acts as the vital lifeblood for the secret weapons development. This pact defies all public narratives, uniting two different worlds in absolute secrecy. As the ink dries on the classified documents, the geopolitical landscape begins to shift. Neither side fully trusts the other, but their mutual ambition forms an unbreakable bond. When billions of dollars are quietly spent in the shadows, who truly holds the absolute power? The engineers and military aides know that one wrong move could spark an international crisis. Information is compartmentalized, ensuring no single person knows the master plan. The deep tension is clear in every handshake, an unspoken agreement of the dangerous path. Both Toufanian and Perez know that history will never officially record this afternoon. They are the hidden architects of a new reality, binding nations through mutual need. The files are quickly locked away in the dark, and the room returns to an eerie, unnatural quiet. Yet outside these heavy doors, the colossal gears of the aerospace industry begin to turn fast. Teams of highly specialized scientists are silently recruited from classified research labs. They are ordered to travel under the strict cover of darkness, leaving their previous lives behind. Their final destination is a vast, hidden underground bunker, deep within the barren desert. Welcome to Sirjan, the newly established heart of this project's massive engineering efforts. Beneath the scorching sand, a sprawling labyrinth of concrete and steel houses the future of war. Harsh fluorescent lights illuminate rows of complex machinery and massive assembly lines. The air is heavy with the strong smell of machine oil, burning solder, and deep, intense concentration. Engineers in lab coats work tirelessly, surrounded by sophisticated telemetry gear. Each calculation must be flawless, as a single error could cause a catastrophic failure. They construct advanced guided vectors designed to deliver devastating payloads precisely. Under the vast blanket of the night, unmarked military transport planes make their silent approach. Pilots navigate without standard lights, relying solely on highly classified coordinates. The landing gear touches down quietly on a remote airstrip, kicking up massive clouds of dust. Inside the cargo hold lie the key components: precision gyroscopes and advanced guidance systems. These sensitive pieces of hardware are quickly unloaded by trusted guards under extreme watch. They are swiftly moved into the underground base, disappearing from the outside world completely. General Toufanian often visits the base, observing progress from a high metal gantry. Looking down at the immense aluminum prototype hull, he feels a strong surge of national pride. Records show that the collaboration was highly efficient, despite all the massive risks involved. Both sides adhered to their unspoken agreement, driven by a mutual fear of true failure. Engineers from both nations worked closely, communicating through the universal language of math. They merged foreign guidance modules perfectly into the massive Iranian propulsion systems. Day by day, the metallic beast grew larger, taking its terrifying, ultimate final shape. It was a breathtaking marvel of modern science, hidden far away from the prying eyes of the world. The project was a technological leap that would have taken Iran decades to achieve alone. For Israel, the steady influx of hidden cash kept their domestic defense programs fully alive. This highly symbiotic bond thrived in the dark, fueled by pure ambition, fear, and unlimited wealth. But the foundations of the Pahlavi dynasty began to crack under immense social pressure. As the rocket reached its final stages of completion, the climate above ground was boiling over. Can military might ever truly save a nation from its own devastating internal collapse? Engineers in Sirjan were isolated from the growing protests and the violent street clashes. They remained focused on calibrating launch sequences, utterly blind to the approaching storm. Millions kept flowing into the secret project, even as the national economy collapsed. The missile frame stood vertically in the silo, a testament to pure engineering skill. It was nearly ready for its maiden flight, a milestone to solidify Iran's absolute power. Toufanian awaited the moment when the massive rocket engines would finally ignite. Yet fate had a completely different narrative written for this ambitious and costly venture. Reports from the capital suddenly grew frantic, detailing massive strikes and widespread chaos. The ground above the bunker seemed to tremble, not from rockets, but from millions of marching feet. Shimon Peres received the alarming intelligence cables, his face darkening with deep concern. The Shah's grip on power was slipping rapidly, and with it, the security of Project Flower. A tough decision had to be made quickly, before rebel forces could seize the facility. Orders were issued to dismantle key components and evacuate the foreign engineers at once. The bustling assembly line abruptly halted, replaced by the frantic rush of full extraction. Documents were thrown into massive incinerators, turning millions of dollars of research to ash. Flames eagerly consumed the blueprints that once promised to reshape the entire Middle Eastern map. In the dim light of burning papers, Peres watched the end of their most ambitious covert mission. Toufanian stood alone in the cavernous silo, staring silently at the unfinished giant. The magnificent, mighty structure he envisioned was now just a hollow shell of broken dreams. Far outside, the chaotic streets of Tehran were now burning with the fierce fire of revolution. The once terrifying absolute power of the Shah was crumbling right before their very eyes. The precious time was quickly running out for all the foreign personnel trapped deep underground. Truly, every single passing second felt like an eternity in that dark, concrete bunker. Strict emergency protocols were executed to wipe every trace of their existence. All the hard drives were completely and utterly smashed, and vital server logs were totally erased. They absolutely could not let this advanced weaponry fall into the hands of the angry mob. The massive transport planes returned swiftly under the cover of a chaotic, starless night sky. This time around, they were not delivering parts, but rescuing the terrified scientists. Desperately boarding the aircraft in a frantic rush, the engineers left their entire life's work behind. Looking far down from the small window, they sadly saw the facility swallowed by the deep darkness. Countless billions of dollars in investments simply vanished into the brutal desert air. General Toufanian managed to escape the country, carrying the heavy weight of failure. The truly glorious military future he had carefully planned was completely shattered. Soon following the fierce revolution, the new Islamic Republic seized absolute control. When they finally breached the Sirjan base, they found only the skeletal remains of rockets. The highly sophisticated Israeli guidance computers were entirely gone from the site. The powerful new regime uncovered the massive secret, exposing the hidden alliance. It became a powerful tool for propaganda against their new regional enemies. The scattered remnants of Project Flower were proudly displayed as trophies of their grand victory. However, they deeply lacked the crucial scientific knowledge to finish the complex engineering. The grand dream of instant ballistic supremacy was severely delayed for many long years. Meanwhile, Israel, having successfully secured the funds, continued to bolster its defense. Their aerospace programs greatly thrived, ironically funded by their now bitterest foe. This strange twist of fate truly illustrates the extreme unpredictability of modern war. The intricate alliances of the Cold War era were built on extremely fragile ice. Bitter enemies and closest friends could instantly switch places overnight with zero warning. Project Flower stands today as a fascinating ghost of geopolitical history. It represents a time when boundless wealth and ambition blinded leaders to reality. The desolate ruins in Sirjan silently echo the folly of unchecked absolute power. What truly happens when you heavily arm a regime that is standing on the brink of collapse? The terrible consequences frequently outlive the ambitious men who signed the papers. History constantly reminds us that strategic secrets can never stay buried forever. Today, the entire region is armed with highly sophisticated missile technology. The very same capabilities they tried to build together are now aimed at each other. The dark shadow of Project Flower continues to cast a long, chilling spell over the Middle East. It is a chilling testament to how quickly immense geopolitical fortunes can turn. The intricate diagrams of destruction survived the fires, only to fuel new, devastating wars. Perhaps the single greatest tragedy is that they never learned the profound lessons of the past. Endlessly seeking the ultimate weapon frequently leads to inevitable ruin. In the bitter end, the vast desert sand simply reclaims both the proud victors and the vanquished. Yet the most dangerous ideas conceived in those dark rooms will forever haunt the future. The tragic ghosts of those ambitious generals still whisper within the empty missile silos. They harshly remind the entire world that a fragile peace can never be bought with advanced rockets. Genuine, true security requires something much stronger than cold steel and billions of dollars. The highly seductive allure of absolute power continues to blind us all today. Will humanity ever manage to break completely free from this endless cycle of terror? As we analyze the complex legacy of Project Flower, we are forced to wonder deeply. The buried secrets of the 70s have fundamentally shaped our modern battlefields. It is a dark chapter that scholars must continue to examine with absolute rigor. For those who failed to learn from the tragic past are absolutely destined to repeat it. The heavy silence of the desert hides many more dangerous stories waiting to be unearthed. We must remain incredibly vigilant in seeking the absolute truth behind the shadows. Because the next hidden alliance might just be the one that finally breaks the entire world. Looking back at this historical alliance, was this exchange a pragmatic masterpiece? Or did it simply lay the dangerous groundwork for the conflicts we see in the region today? Please share your deep thoughts in the comments below. Leave a like and subscribe for more Untold Secrets.